Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. All right, so the girls have all showered and they're in the other room playing with marbles. So, part two. Now, we had looked at the first four pieces, and so let's look at number five. Number five is a Sea Dweller. This is a modern Rolex, and apparently Don Haynes was thinking about getting this watch. He had the option to purchase one of these watches, and I think passed on the chance to do it. Estimated selling price 17,000 to 25,000 USD. I think you can buy them from, say, Chrono 24 for about 20,000. So if it goes to 25,000, I think the buyer is kind of crazy. Of course, this is a new piece, box papers. Let's take a look at the movement. Of course, beautiful, clean. Pretty much all mechanical watch movements are beautiful, even at Tovice. All right, so next is a Batgirl, and these sell for about 10,000 at the AD. Of course, you can't find them. They sell here in Japan on the gray market for about, well, I'd say 22,000 USD, over twice what you could get one at Rolex if you could find one. This is estimated to go for 15,000 to 25,000. If it goes for 15,000, that would be crazy. That's super low. In fact, they probably have a reserve of, my guess would be 20 plus. I wouldn't be selling this for 15,000 if I was watches. New piece, box papers, of course, and yeah, I think I'm definitely a Batgirl kind of guy over a Batman. I think the Oyster bracelet looks great, and I've never been a fan of the polished middle links that was on the Oyster bracelet. Did I say Oyster bracelet looks great? I mean the Jubilee looks great. All right, next, Pepsi. I used to be a Pepsi guy, but I'm definitely a Bat hero person now. I like the color scheme on the Bat versions much more. But still a good looking piece. What will be interesting to see is which goes for more, the Batgirl or the Pepsi. My money is on the Batgirl just because it's newer. I know they fetch a bit of a premium over the Pepsi here in Japan. Should we take a look at the movement? Why not? Yeah, pretty beautiful. I believe this is a 2187 movement. It's off the top of my head. If I'm wrong, then let me know in the comment section. All right, now this is a precious metal Jubilee braceleted black dialed GMT. No, yes, it is GMT. And this is just a straight up GMT. It's not a GMT Master 2 from 1981. And expected selling price 15,000 to 25,000 USD. This is a beautiful watch. I mean, it's got a warm look to it. I'm not even one for precious metal watches, but I would proudly wear this. I mean, it's surprisingly subtle for a solid gold watch. Let's take a look at the case and the movement. Looks like a clean movement, and looks like on that top right lug some wear where the bracelet's been taken on and off, but looks pretty intact. You can still see the bevels and a little rounded on that corner on the bottom left lug. On the right lug, I mean, I seem to see a bevel there, so not too bad. And 15 to 25,000 seems fine, but it looks like it has no box and papers. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it's a really good looking watch. All right, and a 1675. They started making the 1675 in 1959 up until 1980. This one's from 1972, and it's got a matte dial, and it looks like the tritium is even, and the hands look a little lighter. So I'm not sure if those are replacement hands that have been colored. That happens. I've seen Bob's sell watches that have that done to it. That would be sort of my number one question if I was considering this watch. Are those original hands? Are they colored? They don't look quite the same, but I guess it's possible for the hands to age a little bit differently. You can see the vintage look of the tritium without the gold surrounds like mine have, and yeah, it's a pretty good looking watch. No box, no papers. Let's take a look at the case. All right, the top right lug looks a bit rounded from here, and the top left one looks a bit sharp, but movement looks really clean. Nothing really to speak of on the bottom lugs. 12,000 to 18,000, not a bad price. I mean, these sell for 30 plus thousand here in Japan. Again, no box, no papers. That would sort of make me uncomfortable, but you know, it looks legit. It's really beautiful. And this, you know, if you're just a well-heeled guy that wants a vintage Pepsi, you know, your birth year is say 1972, why not? This could be a great piece. All right, just a modern Daytona black dial. These sell for about, I would say, 25,000 USD or so here in Japan. If this reaches 30, just come to Japan. Box papers. Let's check out the beautiful column wheel, which is something you get when you go Rolex chronograph. There it is. Beautiful movement. And this is a pretty moderately priced, well, the estimated price, I should say. They're not expecting so much on this. Sort of surprising to me. 10,000 to 15,000 USD. This is a two-tone champagne dial Daytona from 1995, and let's take a look at it. Now, where's the column wheel? And the column wheel's under there, under the rotor. All right, well, okay. It looks like the lugs are a bit sharp. Whoa, and the left lug looks very sharp to me, while the right lug looks a bit rounded. So that could explain the price, along with lack of box and papers. Let's take a look at it. All right, so is this bottom right lug, I think. It does look a little sharp, but you know, again, if you saw my video yesterday, if this is your sort of dream piece and you love the look of this, this could be a great just all-around piece. You won't have to worry about dinging it up and whatnot. All right, this is a Sigma dialed Daytona. Sigma means it is it doesn't say Daytona. And matte dial, no box, no papers. That's fine. Let's take a look at the condition. Now, look at this. Look at that. This is manual wind, so no rotor. Beautiful movement there. They say that watchmakers, if they could choose one watch, tend to choose the Daytona because of the beautiful movement. I can see why when you look at this. You can see the column wheel right there, and sharp lugs, but almost forgivable. Quite a price on it, or quite a expected price, 70,000 to 90,000 USD. Not bad at all, though. I mean, it's you know, beautiful. It looks you know, aged, obviously, but looks like it's got a clean movement, and it looks like all the pieces on the dial and the hands and the hands on the subdial and everything looks original, and you know, some cracking around the bezel, but not bad. All right, number 13, 1655 Explorer 2. This is sort of the original style of the Explorer 2, and unlike the Explorer 2 I'm wearing on my wrist right now, the 24-hour hand is attached to the local hour hand, so you can't detach them. You can't do another time zone. This was a spelunking watch, and so if you've been in a cave for 2 weeks and you don't know if it's 1:11 in the afternoon or in the morning, you just take a look at your 24-hour hand, and that shows you that it's 1 in the daytime, and it's a bit of a redundant complication for anybody above ground, but as far as the look of this watch goes, I gotta say, I think I prefer it to my Explorer 2. I think this is sort of the the most beautiful Explorer 2, period, if you ask me. It just is a shame that the complication is redundant, but they did you know, rectify that with later versions, but not in that sort of beautiful retro style. All right, let's take a look. Okay, I can see the bevels. Looks polished, but not bad. No box, no papers. You know, these sell for about 18 to 20,000. So if you could get it for 15,000, I think it's a great deal. It could be just a great daily wear, just a cool vintage daily wear. 25,000, I probably would look for something maybe with box papers if it's possible. And you know how I feel about non-polished pieces, so that might be the way to go. All right. Now, after looking at all of those, this seems kind of boring, but this is 1016. Last time I went to Rolex, RSC, the guy sitting to my right, was wearing one of these while he was waiting for his other Rolex. This was Archie Luxury's very first Rolex, a 1016. Beautiful patina on this, and it looks like everything's original. Really clean dial. No box, no papers, but this is a pretty competitive price, at least in Japan. And let's take a look at the movement. It looks a little dirty around that. I don't know why. I think it's definitely been polished. But the dial is beautiful. 1979, I would really want to know if that had been refinished. It almost looks a little too good to be true. Let's look at the condition report. I don't think it says, but that would be my question, because it just looks almost too perfect to me to be a watch, you know, that's been around since 1979. You got to be careful with these vintage pieces, I tell you. All right, and this is an awesome piece right here. Okay, look at the estimated price, 8,000 to 12,000. Now, that's really reasonable considering this is a 321 movement moon watch. I mean, this is a moon watch. This has 321 movement. Look at that column wheel chronograph. There's no cam in this. You know, there's an argument to be made that the cam Speedmasters are more homages than actual moon watches. Well, this is a moon watch for sure. And the best thing about this watch is, take a look at the case. It's unpolished. So if you look down here at the condition, it says the case and bracelet appear to be entirely unpolished and are free from all significant signs of wear, with only slight blemishes and scuffs in their finish. I think this is a really good looking, like, collectible piece. I mean, obviously it would be nice if it had box and papers, but I would go for this over a polished piece with box and papers. And again, really moderately priced. I mean, if I was looking to get a Speedmaster, I think I'd be taking out my credit card tonight at 11 p.m. Japanese time, because this looks like a fantastic piece. And it's got the dot over 90, which drives speedy people crazy. That is sort of like an anomaly, and you got to be a watch person when you go crazy over a little dot over a little 90 on a little dial, or a little bezel, I should say. I love how pedantic watch people can get. I fit right in, I feel. Next is a 1960 Speedy. This has a tropical dial. It does look a little brown, not too tropical. Tropical, you know, sometimes people call a water damaged dial tropical. Tropical just means the paint has browned, okay? And this does look slightly tropical. The other tropical dial in this collection, that 100,000 plus Big Crown sub, while it did look tropical up top, that appeared to be water damage to me. So, yeah. Let's take a look. Let's look at that column wheel. Whenever you get a chance to look at a column wheel chronograph, always take the chance. Looks like a nice piece. I think, considering the price, $35,000, $55,000, I would, even though this is older, tropical, I would much rather go for the previous piece, lot 15. All right, and a Nautilus, Patek Philippe Nautilus, $40,000, $60,000 expected price. And let's take a look at the movement. Now, if you take a look at this watch, look at the second hand in the subdial. That's a little short. I think aesthetically speaking, I think that should be a little longer. That would possibly bother me, but I'm sure I could get over it. It is awfully stubby though. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about the Buckley dial on this. You know, this is a sports watch, or at least it sort of feels like a sports watch to me. And to have the fanciness of a Buckley dial, I think is a little bit incongruent. But, you know, if you've got your sporty looking Nautilus and you want something a little bit more dressy and you love the Nautilus style, why not? It has box and papers. And look at that. Leather wallet. How cool is that? Almost worth 60,000 USD. All right. And whoops. The last piece. Did they get rid of it? Piece 18 was Hoyer. We're having technical difficulty. Let's see. Let's go back here and see if we can find that Hoyer. I tell you, if we can't see the Hoyer, that's okay, because I think that was one of the least impressive pieces. There it is. Okay. All right, so Hoyer, and this looks like an unpolished piece. Now I can't see a column wheel, so I'm assuming this is cam. It looks like some cam stuff going on up here. 9,000 to 14,000 USD. I wouldn't pay that kind of money for Hoyer, but for Hoyer fans, this could be a decent piece. It looks clean, from 1970s. The 1970s. I want to say it's yeah, appears to be unpolished. So hey, if you're a Hoyer fan, this could be nice. Again, no box, no papers, but with these vintage pieces, you know, I think a lot of people were just using their watches. They weren't thinking that they were going to wind up on a Sotheby's auction, you know, nearly 50 years later. Not bad, not bad. Nice blue second hands there. Second hand, I should say. Yeah, well, hands. I mean, there's some blue on the other hands as well. All right, well, there you have it. And let's jump back. And we got about, as you can see, almost 5 hours. Less than 5 hours to go. And, well, what do you guys think? My pick of the litter definitely was the unpolished Speedy, and that was number one for me. The least impressive was probably the Hoyer, just because I'm not into the brand, but it was actually a really good looking piece, unpolished and looked clean, beautiful, 1970s. So actually, that's just sort of a bias against that brand. I thought that was actually a pretty good looking piece, but the modern pieces really don't turn me on much. But I'd say out of all of those, I think the one that I would avoid the most would be that Big Crown sub with the quote tropical dial. It looked like it was water damaged, and I think for that kind of money you could probably find a better example. And if you're looking to spend $100,000+ on a watch, you could probably throw in another 100,000, right, and get something really, really nice with possibly box and papers, and I think better handset, and certainly a better dial. I mean, the dial is everything, and that looked like it looked like a water damaged dial to me. So I think that is the one watch that if I were advising a well-heeled person who's looking at all of the pieces on this auction, that I would avoid. Anyway, let me know what you think. What was your number one piece? Which was your least impressive? Your least impressive piece? I don't know, that the piece you were least impressed by. Thought the Kermit was cool. Thought the Sigma Dial Daytona was worth looking at, and the all gold GMT on that Jubilee bracelet. I think all of those looked pretty nice. But it'll be interesting to see what kind of prices they fetch. Hopefully you'll join me tonight in around 5 hours, and we'll take a look at these. And I don't know how long it takes to sell 18 watches, but we'll make a live show out of it. And look forward to it. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time.